I thought I'd never do this, but I am going to do it. I'm going to give you another film review. Basically because I think these days most movies are garbage and most of the good stuff now is on TV, sadly. But there are some exceptions. There's a couple of films of note of recent times, and the one I'm going to review today is called Passengers, and I think that is worthy of watching. So it's a sci-fi blockbuster, $110 million budget, so it looks good. And the really good thing about it is it has a decent plot, which is a rarity. Stars Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, and she's no stranger to the genre of sci-fi with The Hunger Games under her belt. And the actual this particular vehicle is really a rom-com dressed up as a sci-fi. I mean, it does have a decent plot and it does have decent twists in it, and it does pull at the heartstrings, which is what rom-coms are supposed to do. And just because it's set in space doesn't devalue that storyline, in my opinion. People on the Internet Movie Database have been giving it a bit of a hard time, but I think that's a bit unfair. It's not a masterpiece, but it's a very solid addition to the sci-fi genre. And it's actually directed by a Norwegian, and I think he's done a reasonably good job, actually. So I think it's worthwhile watching. It also has a rather interesting character in it, who's the android, and I wonder if you recognise who that is. The android character is in fact Michael Sheen, who you may recognise from The Masters of Sex. Of course, in that particular film, in that particular TV show, of course, he's playing a doctor, an American doctor from the Midwest. And of course, he's putting on the American accent. But here you see him with his authentic limey accent. And he does a rather good job of being a Crichton-type character. But in this case, we're talking about a barman, and a rather charming English barman he is. The fact he doesn't have legs is neither here nor there. He has a prosthetic face, and that's good enough. And we get to hear Michael in his authentic English accent. As you'll notice, many actors on the screen in America these days are in fact Englishmen putting on American accents, rather deftly, I might add. So he's quite a good actor, and he's just basically playing a support role. As is Lawrence Fishburne, who also is a supporting character, but a very fine performance he puts in as well. I would say probably the most underwhelming performance out of all of the ensemble would be Jennifer Lawrence. Not that she's bad, but she's not particularly stunningly good either. Easy on the eye, sure, and she does a passable job in the rom-com setting, but I wouldn't say it's an outstanding performance. But then again, it is a sci-fi. It's not, with a lot of rom-com thrown in. It's not a real character-based piece, and but the action and the plotting is very good. The setup is based. I don't think I'll be giving much away to say basically you have a man who's a colonist. Basically, he's in suspended animation for a 120-year journey from Earth to a colony in another star system. So that would be 60 light years going on, the fact that they're travelling at 50% of the speed of light, which is bloody fast by anybody's standards. But the problem is, of course, that there's a glitch that occurs that wakes him prematurely. And I'm not giving away a great deal. It's not a big spoiler, this one, but this is where the plot is driven from. And basically you have the Chris Pratt character being stuck on this colony interstellar ship, and there's still 90 years to complete in that 120-year journey, and it looks as though he's going to have to do it on his lonesome. Well, what makes it worse for him, of course, is he's not really alone. He's actually surrounded by 5,000 other colonists who are in suspended animation, plus 250 crew, which makes it even worse for him, than that he can't interact with these people as living people because they're all basically in Snoozeville. So it's a great little setup. And there is a huge moral dilemma that takes place between him and the Jennifer Lawrence character, who you can obviously guess has woken from her slumber as well. But the circumstances of that awakening causes a lot of friction between the two of them, and it is the basic plot of the film. But I think it's resolved rather well in the end of the movie. So look, I think the movie's actually got a lot going for it.